Greetings to all of you. I'm Bishop DeGrood's, the new bishop here in the Diocese of Sioux Falls. You've been in my thoughts and in my prayers lately, all of us who fall into that category of 50 and over, or as we shall say, those who are more seasoned in life because of the pandemic. I can only imagine, as you may hear on the news, the challenges that are happening not only in our own country, in our own state, but throughout various parts of the world, where they're really encouraging those who are vulnerable in particular ways to be very cautious in getting out and limiting exposure to the coronavirus. I stand here before, today I'm in the St. Joseph Chapel. Here we are at our beautiful cathedral, and we have St. Catherine Drexel here, who is an educator and came to the United States, in fact, in our own diocese and also in Rapid City. She is the first American-born saint that was canonized. And as I stand before her today, knowing she was in our land, we ask for her intercession. But I especially wanted to be here because of this beautiful witness and example of one of the Native American elderly women. And we see the years of age, right? As we get older, we continue to age. If we look closely, for example, at her face, we see the wrinkles. We see perhaps her hands, whether it's arthritis, whatever it might be. Many of you can perhaps relate to that in your own lives with your own health issues. But look at the joyful disposition on her heart. The joyful disposition will come for each of us when we are open to receiving God's grace, whether it's through someone like St. Catherine Drexel, whether it's through a spouse, one of your children, one of your grandkids, even directly in your relationship with God, our Blessed Mother Mary or St. Joseph. We notice between the St. Catherine Drexel and our beautiful Native American depiction of this woman, we see Christ, and we see Christ on the cross. You know better than I from your own experience the crosses of your life. We all have them. This time of social distancing and isolation presents its own cross, and that's why you've been on my mind and my heart, especially in this Lenten season. Lent is a time of prayer, fasting, almsgiving. In your own way, you can find it as a time with more isolation, perhaps a time of more prayer, more fasting from the things that you would like to do, but it's the disposition of heart that we have towards those trials in our life. The trial of not being able to get out, even to do groceries, or the basic things that we're so familiar with. Maybe it's to go to the grocery store because you like doing that kind of thing, or getting out, visiting some of your friends. Maybe you have a dear friend who's lost their spouse, and you can't even go to the funeral because of the limits of the number of people that the health department is advising and the restrictions of public masses. These are all great hardships, but the Lord never leaves us alone in those times of hardship. He constantly is inviting us to open our heart to turn to Him. So my invitation to you, and it's an invitation for me, to be like this witness of this beautiful example of this Native American woman who opened her heart appearingly from this beautiful example to St. Catherine Drexel. And notice what St. Catherine is doing. Look where the rays are coming from. St. Catherine Drexel's hand goes up. The Native American's hand goes up. We realize that the power that comes to embrace our cross comes from Christ Himself. Comes from God, who wants us in our weakness, vulnerability, our isolation, loneliness, sadness, all the things we might have, to receive Him in greater ways. That's my hope and my prayer for you this Lenten season. And know of my love and my care as your new bishop for the flock that I've been blessed to be able to serve. And I hope that through your own prayers, through your own offering of your sacrifices and your crosses, and reaching out to others who may be alone and isolated in these times, especially those in greatest need, maybe assisting those financially if you have that capacity, for those who may be struggling because of the economy and all the effects of that in your families, your neighbors, your friends. Now's the time for us to turn to God and ask for help. And may this example of both St. Catherine and our Native American woman be for us always that invitation to turn our eyes to the Lord and know that God will give us the grace for every cross we face. God bless you in this Lenten season.